So, here I am now, a 24 years old Jewish woman who lives in Jerusalem, a professional Middle Eastern music musician and teacher. Music is such a huge part of who I am. It is my joy, my solace, my love language. It is hard for me to understand all the horrors in war. My sense of safety and well-being at home has been shattered. Immediately after October 7, I wasn't able to listen to music or even touch the ney. To just think that hundreds of young music lovers, just like me, were slaughtered in a music festival while celebrating life was too much pain to bear. It is easy to succumb to despair, but here's what keeps me going. Knowing there are beautiful people like Lana who are willing to risk speaking up for a better future and for peace, just like me. Then I know a different world is possible. Together, Lana and I stand here today and show the world there is an alternative. You do not have to be only pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian. We choose to be pro-humanity, freedom, and peace.
I launched my journalism career just as the war broke out nearly a year ago. You see, journalism was a natural fit for me because Tomorrow's Women gave me the tools to connect with people of all identities and views, to deeply listen to their stories and to try to understand them. It was so important for me to share the truth with compassion, to give a voice to the voiceless, all while my country and the world were reeling in pain as both the leadership in Gaza and Israel failed us and continues to fail us to this day by not prioritizing innocent lives. Over 42,000 Gazans killed, so many more injured, starving, trying to flee with nowhere to go. You know the story. I was beginning to feel hopeless. Realizing that, I knew I needed to make an active change, because I was no longer that little girl afraid of her Palestinian bloodline. This is my home. These are my people. And that is when I found Standing Together. In April, I began working as a professional peace activist for the largest Jewish Arab grassroots movement within Israel that stands on building a shared home between both people and choosing justice and empathy over hate. I may be one of the newbies at the movement, but I'm already making my mark.
Talking from what you're going through and your personal experience is something that people cannot deny. And this is the greatest tool that we learn through the program of Tomorrow's Women. When we address the conflict, we talk from our personal stories, not in the name of our people or government or whatever. We just talk from our families and our personal story and feelings. Then we can refer to each other and agree that there is pain on both sides and that we both fear from the same things and hope for our people the best, a better future. So find the similarities in both pain and hopes.
When you are listening to someone, I always say, listen to understand, not to retaliate. And it makes the biggest difference. So I think when you hold that with you and you listen to them and you're just trying to understand where they're coming from, why are they thinking like that? Why do they speak like that? Where does that stem from? Instead of retaliating right away, they'll start feeling heard. And when you show them that, they'll start opening up more, which makes the conversation a lot easier to hold.
The most important thing is just to understand that it's complicated and there are many truths. There is not one truth there is one truth, there is the truth of what I am experiencing and going through, but there is also the truth of what Lana is experiencing and her people's pain. So understanding that each person has its own story and its own message in this world, and trying to seek for similarities and find a common language and think about what we can do, not what happened, what we can do next.
And I think Western media, I think what we don't understand is that us people, all of us in the room, we have a phone, we have our voice, and we are all sitting here, and you just heard two women speak a different perspective that media doesn't show. That's when we start sharing. We have the power to share that. We as people have the power to share that. We know people, and we know people who know people. So why don't we share that message instead? You know, like I could sit here and share about only Palestine all day and it'll go to only Palestinians, but we need to break that algorithm. We need to break that echo chamber that we're all in. We need to start sharing messages and voices like Noga's eyes instead. We need to start following social media pages and news outlets that talk about this instead.
Yesterday, one of the questions from the audience was, how do we stay so strong emotionally and hold ourselves? And my response was that I don't feel that we have the privilege to fall into depression and to frustration, because if we want to see our future different, to see a different future, we need to make the change, and we need to fight for peace and for different reality. We must stay optimistic and do whatever we can to change our reality now.